Hello and Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Strategic Business Leader online classes for December 2018 examination. I am Kashif Kamran, your tutor. Now today is my fifth lecture on the ongoing classes on Strategic Business Leader exams, and I was exploring with you the area of corporate governance, which will be continuing into the class today as well. Now, as a prerequisite, I assure that all of you have come with the revision of my previous lecture so that you know exactly where we ended the last lecture and from which point onwards we are starting the lecture today. Now, just to give you a crisp recap of where we ended last so that we can then start on building exercise from that point onwards. Now, into the last class, we were more focused to corporate social responsibility. And I hope you remember that in towards the last classes, we came across the concept of knowing what a corporate citizenship is. And we had a lecture on the CSR and how CSR can contribute to business success. We saw theories like Johnson and Scholl, where Johnson and Scholl was identifying organizations with short-term shareholder interest and long-term shareholder interest and multiple stakeholder obligations. And even the Johnson and Scholl was identifying the organizations which work for welfare, like the Shaper of Society. We did then explore the Gray-Owen atom, which was a very phenomenal theory, and the Gray-Owen atom was taking into account the seven stances on social responsibility, starting from a stance like a pristine capitalist, where a business is very instrumental and the business has no concern about environment or no concern about society, but then transforming them into expedients, proponents of social contract, and down towards was the deep ecologist. Then we went into discussing the sustainability, that what sustainability is. I have given you example of the PepsiCo, that how it can be weak sustainability to a strong sustainability. And then finally, we came down discussing the footprints, the environmental footprints, and the ecological footprints. And then towards down, we were exploring the systems, that if the management is really serious about environment, the management will have an environmental management system. The system, just like an internal control system, which can really be effective towards your response to environment. And we did discuss the ISO 14000, that how ISO 14000 can help organization in minimizing their negative effect on environment, and how ISO 14000 can help you comply with applicable laws, and how ISO 14000 can ensure the regular improvement of above. Now, the next thing before I get you to an exam paper, let me first complete these first few slides before I give you exam papers and we start drilling those exam papers. EMAS. Just like ISO 14000, I did mention in my last class that EMAS is only confined to the European Union, right? Whereas ISO 14000 is international. Now, when we see EMAS, which is confined to the European Union countries, it is a management tool for companies. Which companies? The companies which are in the European Union. It is a management tool for the companies. Which companies? The companies which are in the European Union, to evaluate, to report, and to improve their environmental performance. So it's more and less the same like ISO 14000. It helps the company evaluate. What evaluate? Evaluate their footprints, evaluate their impacts, evaluate their impacts on the environment. So evaluation of what? Evaluation of their footprints. What footprints do they have on the environment? evaluate their footprints, evaluate their impacts on the environment. Then also, not just evaluating their footprints and impact, but also improving them. Try, try reducing them, try improving them. So the EMAS also focus on reducing them, reducing the footprints, on improving the footprints. And then to report them. Report them to whom? Report them to the stakeholders. Tell the stakeholders, how have you improved your footprints? How have you brought a change in your footprints? And we have to discuss the report in the class today, known as an integrated report. But please remember that EMAS is confined to European countries, where it is a tool which helps the management to evaluate their footprints and impact, improve their footprints, and to report to the shareholders or the stakeholders that how they have brought the changes in terms of their environmental friendliness. Okay, let's see what's the focus of the scheme. The scheme focus on targets and improvements. So you have to set the targets. Targets for what? Targets for your footprints. A lot of companies set very long-term targets, like they set targets for 2025. They set target for 2030. So the company sets targets for next 5 years, next 10 years, to see how their footprint will go down in the next 10 years. Because the targets will become your goals, right? And that goals will help you to improve. So to improve, you need the targets, right? So first you will set the targets, and then you will work on the improvements to how to improve towards 2030. On-site inspections. You should have your internal auditor, or you should have an expert who can go on your sites and see how much environmental damage are you creating. So normally you have these experts, right? The environmental experts. Hire these environmental experts, because these environmental experts can help you with on-site inspections. They can assess your performance. They can assess your improvements. So if the company says that they are reducing the water usage, then the expert has to be engaged, and the expert has to judge that how well are you reducing the usage of the water. Or if the company says they are recycling more, then an expert has to be engaged who will tell the company how much improvement has come in the recycling. So you need to hire these environmental experts, right? So that they can really help you down with the on-site inspection. Disclosures and verifications. Obviously, disclosure was basically the report, right? You have to give a report to the shareholder. Disclosures. Disclosures of what? Disclosures of your targets. So the shareholder knows your targets and your improvements, so that the stakeholders and the shareholders also know what improvements have you done. And your disclosure needs to be verified, right? Verified by the experts. The expert needs to verify your disclosures. That are you giving honest disclosures? Are you giving transparent disclosures towards your stakeholders? So whether it is ISO 14000 or it is EMAS, the basic purpose of ISO 14000 and EMAS is that an organization carefully reduce their environmental footprints, and only a normative company who has concern for the planet will have a system like EMAS or a system like ISO 14000, and through the systems they will improve their environmental footprint. Okay, then the next thing, before taking on the exam paper, what is social and environmental audits? You must have heard these words, right? They have become such common words in last 10 years. Social audits, environmental audits, because the normative companies who are doing so much for people and planet, wants to ensure transparency, right? Wants to ensure transparency of the exercise they are doing. So with the rise of the normative companies, with the rise of the companies which are social ecologists, like in a gray over Adam, right? The companies which are like social ecologists, they are very much concerned about their transparency of the information they are disclosing to the stakeholder. So for that reason, they need to have a proper audit. And you know what is the benefit of audit, right? The audit enhances the transparency, or the audit gives a true and fair view. But we are not giving a true and fair view on the financial statements. We're giving a true and fair view on the social and environmental performance. And all these external audit firms, all these external audit firms do provide an audit which is known as a green audit. So the green audit is provided by the big four firms, not just by the big four firms, many firms. So a green audit has become an acceptable practice where you engage an external auditor, and the external auditor can give you an assurance on your social environmental practices. And the assurance you get from the green audit is a moderate assurance, not a reasonable assurance, right? So the practice of assurance here, it is a moderate assurance, right? It is not a reasonable assurance. So green audits have become norms, and green audits have become norms for normative companies. And the normative companies really engage these external auditors who performs social environmental audits for them to ensure that there is a transparency of the information you are disclosing towards the stakeholder. Let's understand this topic. An environmental audit is systematic, number one, is documented, number two, and a periodic evaluation, number three, of how well the system is responding to safeguard the environment. It is a systematic, documented, and a periodic evaluation of how well the system is responded. Which system? The environmental systems. And can you give me some examples of environmental systems? Can you give me some examples of environmental systems which the company can have in place? Can you give me a quick answers of examples of environmental systems the company can have in place? So I know how alert you had been in the last 10 minutes. What are examples of environmental systems? Yes, good answer, Kabu. EMAS is an example of an environmental system. ISO 14000, good answer. So Kabu has given the right answer, environmental systems. What are environmental systems? The environmental systems are EMAS. The environmental systems are ISO 14000. So how well these systems are responding? Are these systems working effectively? Are these systems working effectively? So this is a systematic, documented, and a periodic evaluation. Periodic? What does periodic means here? The periodic means here annually, once every year, annually, periodic. So we have to engage the auditor, right? So we have to engage the external auditor for a periodic exercise, for an annual exercise. And the external auditor will see your systems, whether your systems are fine and your systems are responding effectively. Systematic. We know everything done by the auditor is systematic. You have a checklist, right? The auditor has a checklist, systematic checklist, documented. You know everything the auditor do has the working papers of the auditor. Systematic, documented, periodic evaluation of how well the system is responding. Right? It's a pretty simple definition, right? A pretty simple definition. But just keep in mind the three good things: systematic, checklist, documented, working papers, and periodic, once every year. Okay, social audits. Social audit is a process which checks, which checks that the organization has achieved the social targets. Who checks the organization has achieved the social targets? Who checks it? Who will give me the answer? Who checks it that the organization has achieved the social targets? Who is checking it? Let's see who gives me the answer first. The auditor, exactly, Umar Kaleem. Experts, auditors. But again, we were discussing more about auditors here, right? Environmental audits, social audits. So the better answer would be auditors. Who checks? The auditors checks it, right? The auditors have to check it. Auditors. So the auditors will check that the organization has achieved their social targets. Social targets, for example, health and safety targets. Philanthropy. Philanthropy is the donations, right? Targets for donations. Donations. Educational projects. Targets for educational projects. Targets for educational spendings. So philanthropy targets, educational targets, health and safety targets, and product responsibility targets. Product responsibility targets. Product responsibility targets. What are product responsibility targets? Who will tell me that? In the meantime, you tell me what product responsibility targets are. Let me show you an image of that. Think about what are product responsibility? What does product responsibility means in terms of social? No. Can you see a picture in front of your screen? Product responsibility. Can all of you see that picture? Can you just analyze that picture for 2 minutes? Product responsibility. You buy a product from a supermarket, right? Like a breakfast cereals. And do you find something like that on a breakfast cereal? Something like the nutritional, something like nutritional information? Do you find these nutritional informations on them? Do you find something like use by, the expiry date? Do you find something like a warning that people suffering from asthma or something like that should not eat it? Do you find the ingredients of the products? These are product responsibilities, right? Because these really helps the consumer. And are they beneficial for the consumer buying the product? Are they beneficial for the consumer buying the product? So this is social, right? You are telling the people that this is the nutritional. This is nutritional. How nutritional my product is? By when you should eat it, otherwise it will become expired. So this is product responsibility, right? And you should set targets, because with passage of time, the company is increasing the product labelings. So what does product responsibility means here? The product responsibility means here, the product responsibility means what? It means the labels you have on the products. How many times you buy a product from the supermarket and it contains so many labels, environmental labels and social labels? Have you seen those labels, right? All of you can relate to those labels, right? So labels have importance, right? Because the labels are giving you a social awareness. The labels are telling you how nutritional my product is. Is that clear with everyone? Has that picture responded you well? The breakfast cereals? Okay, so is everyone clear with that? And all of you are aware of this, right? But perhaps you didn't thought of that when we were discussing the product responsibility. So product responsibility are basically the labels we see on the products, whether they are social labels or they are environmental labels. Okay, so that is the social environmental audits. Okay, now try to understand something very important. Now, this is the most important discussion I will be doing in my lecture today, and then we are taking on an exam paper. Now, I have to take on my Word file because I need to discuss something very important with you now. This is the main topic of the class today, and please understand this very, very carefully. Reporting. The social and environmental reporting. Social and environmental reporting. Which companies will do social environmental reportings? Tell me. Which companies will do social and environmental reporting to shareholders, to stakeholders, sorry. Which companies will do that? Tell me. Instrumentals or normatives? Normative, good answers, good answers. Annalisa, Cabu, normative companies. So which companies will do it? Normative companies will do it. Great answers, right? Okay, so that means you are revising your previous lectures. That's so soothing for a tutor to know that the students are revising the lectures. Which companies will do social environmental reporting? The good answer, which came from students, normative companies. Normative companies. Good, perfect. Okay, let's do next. Now, what I need to tell you that social and environmental reporting has evolved in last 10 years, and you need to understand that because that will really give you a good insight of how will you be writing an answer in your SBL exam. Social environmental reporting has evolved in last 10 years. Let's see how that links to your syllabus. Now listen to a story as I will be guiding you carefully, and then if you have any questions, you can raise in your questions after 10 to 15 minutes once I complete this topic. And in between the lecture, if I ask you a question, you need to respond me as quickly as possible. Okay, let's see how things have evolved in last 10 years. Now, there was a time that the companies used to report their financial performance to the shareholders, right? Normally known as an annual report, right? Each year, the company used to publish an annual report, and the annual report used to contain the financial performance of the company, including the balance sheet and the income statement. And this was primarily focused to the shareholders. Was that true? And still in many countries, right? Still in many countries, the instrumental companies still do the financial reporting, right, to the shareholders. But over a passage of time, the companies who used to report their financial performance to shareholders and had a normative mindset, they went ahead, and the companies then started to think about that their activities do affect the people and the planet, and they should also report about them in their annual report. They should report about them in their annual report. How do they affect the people and planet? And then came a norm which was known as performance with purpose. Performance with purpose reporting took grounds and became an acceptable practice. Now you will think, performance with purpose? Performance with purpose became a buzzword. Performance with purpose became a buzzword. And this became a buzzword somewhere around 2007, 2008. This became a very buzzword. Performance with purpose. Now, what was performance with purpose? Performance with purpose introduced the triple bottom line reporting, the triple bottom line reporting for stakeholders. And the triple bottom line reporting was known as the 3 P's reporting, the 3 P's reporting. 3 P's reporting. Number 1 P, profit. Reporting for profit, that was your financial performance. Number 2, reporting, the people, your social activities. What have you done for social? And the 3rd P, the planet. What have you done for the planet? Your environmental activities. Environmental activities. Performance with purpose. Performance was what? Performance was your financial performance. Purpose was the people and planet. People and planet became your purpose. So from just the financial performance, the corporate reporting diversified into triple bottom line reporting, and this became a norm. Triple bottom line reporting. If you still search Google, you will still find triple bottom line reporting and a lot of literature on triple bottom line reporting. 3 P's. Then came a time that we shifted from the triple bottom line reporting to something known as the companies started using another buzzword known as create shared value. Create shared value, CSV. CSV became the buzzword. Create shared value. I think Nestle was the pioneer of this, right? Nestle took advantage of this. Nestle was the first company who thought about, okay, let's speak about create shared value rather than speaking about performance with purpose. And the create shared value is the same thing. Create shared value. So how you create the shared value? You create a shared value by being a good corporate citizen. So if you're a good corporate citizen, if you're a good company, you will create a shared value. Shared valued how? Profit plus the people plus the planet is equal to a shared value in which everyone gets benefit, So it's the same thing, right? Triple bottom line reporting, but it transformed into a new word known as a create shared value. So the business should create shared values with shareholders, they should create shared values with society, and they should create shared value with planet. Now came the last thing. Now, since last 3 years, integrated reporting has now become a buzzword, It's not been used by all companies. This is still a process which is evolving. It has become part of the ACCA syllabus since last 2 years in many papers, but this is still an evolving topic. Integrated reporting has now become the buzzword. Now you go to Google, you go to ACCA websites, you will see the word integrated reporting as an highlighted word. Integrated reporting. I hope you can understand integration here. Integration of what? Integration of the profit, people, and planet. Integration. Integrated reporting has now become the buzzword. Now try just to understand it before I take you back to my presentation. Integrated reporting believes that the business value is created as a combination of six capitals. Integrated reporting believe that the business value is created as a combination of six capitals. Now you will say six capitals. The tutor just told us three capitals: profit, people, planet. Now the tutor is talking about six capitals because things have changed. Now you think that the value is created not just because of the three capitals. The value is created because of the six capitals. What six capitals create value for business? This is part of your syllabus, right? Number one, the financial capital. The financial capital. I'll just give you examples, right? Just wait for 1 minute. Intellectual capital. Intellectual capital. Number three, manufactured capital. Manufactured capital. Number fourth, social and relationship capital. Social and relationship capital. Number fifth, the planet capital. And then the human resource, the people capital. The people capital. Six capitals. You can see the sense of the profit, people, planet here as well, right? The last one is the human resource, right? The human resource capital. Can you see the three being broken down into six here? Profit, people, planet. Can you see the people, planet coming in the last? If I just emphasize this way, let me emphasize this way. Can you see the people and planet came in the last year? People, planet. Right? And can you see the profit? The profit has been broken into three: financial capital, intellectual capital, the manufactured capital. Now you might ask me, what are they? Simply, you all are accountants, right? So you know what is a financial capital, right? A financial capital which creates value. The financial capital is your equity. The financial capital is your debt. The financial capital is your working capital. Is that all important to run a business? Is that all very important to create a shared value? Does this all creates value for the business? Yes or no? Financial capital, does it creates value? And do we disclose this in our annual report, equity, debt, working capitals? All of you can give me an answer, yes or no. Does it creates value? The financial capital, does it contribute to the business success? Yes. Okay, great. Okay, then let's explore the intellectual capital. Intellectual capital, research and development. Research and development, IS 38. Copyrights, the purchased brand names, the goodwill, the purchased goodwill, right? Patents, licenses. I hope all of you know IS 38, right? Trademarks, exactly, Uma. Are they all very important for creating values? Are they really good for business? Trademarks, copyrights, goodwills, brands. You know IS 38, right? You're all accountants. You all know the importance of IS 38. Intangible assets, intangible assets. Are intangible assets important to contributing to your success? Right? So do they contribute to success? Yes. So do they all contribute towards your success? Yes, they do. Okay, let's find the manufactured capital. What is the manufactured capital? The manufactured capital is your inventory, is your finished goods. Is inventory and finished goods important for any organization? Is warehousing important? So the finished goods, right? The finished goods plays a crucial part in terms of bringing you success. Then comes your social and relationship capital, is what you do for society. Is what you do for society. Society, the public, like doing something for health, doing something for donations, doing something for education. So all such activities, right? Normally known as the social activities. Then the activities for planet. The planet activities like recycling. The planet activities like waste reductions. The planet activities like reducing footprints. Reducing reducing the emission. And then something for the people. The people is your human resource, right? Your employees salaries, employees benefits, the motivation of these employees, which is very, very important. Motivation of these employees. So do you all agree that these 6 capitals plays a very crucial part? So this is integrated reporting. You have to integrate and you have to show the shareholder that how this all integrates, create a value. Because the shareholder will not get impressed unless and until you tell them that all 6 together creates a value. So triple bottom line, the triple bottom line was only focusing on 3 things. Now the integrated reporting is focusing on how many things? 6 things. But what you have to show to the shareholder? You have to show to the shareholder that the 6 integrates and creates value. The 6 integrates and creates value for the shareholder. Is that true? Is that understandable by all of you? So does it really creates value for the business, the 6 of them? Okay, that's great. Okay, so can all of you understand that the reporting has evolved? The reporting has evolved. Okay, now let's show you something, then conclude the lecture and then gets to a past paper. Okay, so we were discussing reporting and we were discussing how reporting has evolved. Now sometime, again, the video will get you through here, because the message you will get from a video or something you observe is a better message, right? So let's show you something here, irrespective you get the voice or not. But please, I think last time even some of the students were getting the good voice quality. Please ensure your laptop volumes and your smartphone volumes are on the maximum. Okay, and try just to concentrate on this. Okay, first of all, I'm starting from creating the shared value, right? Then from creating the shared value, I will take you to the integrated report. Okay, let's understand this, how the people profit planet creates the shared value.
Recently, more companies all over the world have adopted a modern concept to implement macro growth in society. This practice of creating shared value. also referred to by its acronym CSV, goes beyond the more known popular practice of good social responsibility, CSR. While initiatives triggered by CSR mostly entail spending pre-allocated budgets on chosen charities or NGOs and volunteering time in the spirit of giving back to communities, creating shared value, on the other hand, is more strategic and is embedded in the core of companies implementing it. In fact, companies adopting CSV recognize that their own long-term sustainability and growth are directly linked to those of their communities and the environment. A company thrives better if the community that hosts it is better. At Nestle, creating shared value is the fundamental way we do business, and it is built on the strong foundation of compliance and sustainability. As a food company, we are best positioned to create value in three areas: nutrition, water, and rural development, and we are determined to play our role. Find out more about our communities by visiting our website and connecting with us.
Okay, now, okay, just 1 minute. Okay, all of you can hear me, right? Okay, that's perfect. And did you got a message from creating shared value? Did you realize how businesses are ensuring their long-term growths? But please remember, these creating shared values are not being done by instrumental businesses. These are being done by normative businesses. I hope you remember the Johnson and Scholl model. The short-term shareholder interest will do that? No, the long-term shareholder interest will do that. Because if you've seen the video, they were telling you about the long-term. Which business will think about the CSV? A business which has a short-term view or a business which has a long-term view? Can you respond with your answers? Which business? Which business will think about CSV? A business which has a short-term view or a long-term view? And all of you concentrated on that video? Was that clear to everyone, the video? So did you realize that how Nestle is bringing that CSV together, spending on the people, spending on the planet, because they think this really is sustainable. This really is sustainable for the long-term future, not just of Nestle, but the long-term future of the people and the planet. And the voice, did you hear the voice of the video? Did all of you hear the voice of the video? Okay. What I'll be doing is I'll try that I put all these videos after the class on the group, so you can see them on your smartphones. That would be much more clear, right? So because in the class I have to play them just to show you a concept, but at the end of the day I'll be posting that uh, on your WhatsApp group, right? So that you can see them at your flexible timings. Okay, now just one last thing. See this.
The relationship between a business, its investors, and society is under scrutiny like never before. Businesses are trapped in reporting cycles that are short-term in focus, are backward-looking, have a compliance box-ticking mentality, and a fragmented approach, meaning reports are getting too long and too complex without telling a holistic story. As a result, businesses are facing significant compliance burden. Investors are not getting the right information they need. Capital markets are suffering from short-termism and an excessive focus on financial information, and in certain aspects, a lack of trust. There is a better way, based on stronger dialogue between businesses and investors. This new approach is already practiced by thousands of businesses globally. Integrated reporting. It builds on what we have instead of trying to create something new. And evidence from world-leading academics shows it contributes towards financial stability and sustainable development. So what exactly is integrated reporting? Integrated reporting is a strategic and future-oriented communication about how organizations draw on the different resources and relationships available to them, the capitals, to create value over time. The International Integrated Reporting Framework identifies 6 broad categories of capitals used by organizations: financial, manufactured, intellectual, human, social and relationship, and natural. Integrated reporting helps organizations think holistically about their strategy and plans in the context of the business impact on the different capitals, making better informed decisions and managing key risks, taking advantage of key opportunities. What would the world look like if more organizations go on the integrated reporting journey? More effective resource allocation, an end to incentive systems that perpetuate short-term thinking and decision-making, reporting aligned to modern-day business models, investors able to understand a company and its prospects better so they can manage investment risk, validate decisions, and assess a company's forward-looking information. A system of capital allocation that's better aligned to the long-term goals of business and society, building trust. Value created, value enhanced. Isn't it time you join the thousands of businesses benefiting from integrated reporting? Visit www.integratedreporting.org to access the framework and other resources. Start your journey today.
Okay, will all of you be going on the www.integratedreporting.org if you have interest in this topic and you want to build up your exam temperament? I hope, again, irrespective of the voice quality of the video, because that could be because of the video being played on GoToWebinar, but I'll be sending these individual videos to your WhatsApp because they really boost your understanding of a subject matter, and it really helps you understand something in like a quick go, right? So I believe that you are understanding how things have evolved, how reporting has evolved. Has everyone understand that? So reportings have evolved from being financial more towards non-financial. Now, in our reporting, we have manufactured capital, intellectual capital, we have natural capital, we have human resource capital, and all these capitals get together and they create value for business and they create value for the shareholder. So the reporting has now evolved, and the shareholder is recognizing that. The shareholder believes this is a long-term prospects for my business, and this brings long-term opportunities for my business. Right? So for example, let me give you something for next class. Okay, develop a business case which you need to present to your shareholders at the upcoming annual general meeting, at the upcoming AGM, where you need to develop a business case which you need to present to your shareholders at the annual general meeting at the upcoming AGM, where you need to ensure that the shareholders understands the shifting from the typical shareholders understand the shifting towards integrated reporting. You should assume yourself as Mr. John. You should consider yourself as Mr. John, the finance director of Alpha Company, and you should present your business case, prioritizing the key pros, or the key benefits the shareholders will get from integrated reporting, and how integrated reporting enhances the long-term sustainability of shareholders' return on capital employed. Okay, and consider the commercial acumen when developing a business case. Commercial acumen means the cost versus benefits. Because if you shift towards integrated reporting, it will involve cost as well, right? Cost of your reporting, cost of your systems. It's not so simple to shift towards this. Now you have to do a research. For research, you can go to the Google. On research, you can go towards the www.integratedreporting.com.org and explore and make a 500 words case for me. Will you do that by the next class on Friday? And will you post that to my individual WhatsApp number? Will you WhatsApp me this, each one of you? So I need to choose who give me the best answer by the next class. Will you WhatsApp this to me at 923332383442 individually? So you need to get to research, right? SBL cannot be passed without research. Engage in research, explore the Google, explore the internet. Because what if you get to write a business case on integrated reporting? You should know the pros and cons of integrated reporting. You should know the do's and don'ts of integrated reporting. You should know how it enhances the long-term value of the shareholder, not just theoretically, but through a research. So have all of you understood this? Take a snapshot of this, please. Take a snapshot of this, save it on your smartphones. And at the end of the day, you will be getting this Word file, but this is your assignment. And Friday next class, you will be giving me this by Wednesday. So I can take out a printout of your 500 words and I can choose the best answer. So Wednesday is the limit. Wednesday is the limit. Anyone who gives me after Wednesday, you will not be considered in the list of the students to be judged on the ground. So till Wednesday evening, whoever submit me the assignment will be eligible for being rated as first, second, third for the class on Friday. Okay, so that's great. You will be working on this. So that means you will be busy with something. Okay, assignment on integrated reporting. That's great. Going. Okay. Now let's do something where I will engage you in the classroom. Please ensure that you go over this environmental reporting slides yourself. These are self-explanatory slides, so I will not be doing any justification. I have just given you a justification on the Word file. Please do read the environmental reporting. What is the purpose of environmental reporting? What are contents of environmental reports? Advantages of environmental report, and then what is integrated report? And I have shown you the 6 capitals of integrated report, right? So please ensure that from slide number 48 to slide number 53, you are going yourself 48 to 53, right? Let's write it on the Word file, and please read the slide number. Read the slide numbers 48 to 53. And if you don't understand something, so then do put me a question on the WhatsApp. Slide 48 to 53. Okay, now just before starting on the exam paper, on the topics we have done so far. Let's go to the ACCA website, technical articles. Can you see this technical article? Sorry, can you see this SBL website, which contains this articles on your screen? Technical articles on the SBL website. I hope you have visited that before. If you have not, then please mark the articles which you will be reading by the next class on Friday, because a lot of areas have been discussed in class of which there are articles. So please keep marking the articles. Number one article, if you go down the website, you will see the two articles here. Both of them have been discussed in my preceding classes now. So if you read these articles, you will understand them because the topic have been done in the class. The part two contains the gray oven atom. The part two contains the normative and instrumental. So we have done the gray oven atom, normative and instrumental. So you can read the articles safely. The Mendelometrics is in the part one. So we have done them, so you can read them, right? Okay, next, stakeholder part one, stakeholder part two, right? That's the first one you are reading for your next class. And to be assured of that you're reading it, let me do this all on the WhatsApp group. Okay, that's number one article you're reading. I put that on your online group. Okay, then you move downwards and you will be reading another article, which is ethical decision making. I hope you remember we did a question in the class. We did a topic known as Tucker 5 question model. Have you done that? Tucker 5 question model? Will all of you give me a yes and no answer? Tucker 5 question model. Is it profitable? Is it legal? Is it environmentally sound? Have you done that? The Tucker 5 question model? Okay, we have, right? So that means you will be doing this article as well. Okay, read this article, ethical decision making, because it contains the Tucker 5 question model. So let's put that on the screen as well, because you people easily forget things. Ethical decision making, right? Is the second article you will be reading. Okay, then downwards, we have done the topic agency, right? So you will be reading this article as well, organizing transactions, because we have done the topic agency. So you have to read this article as well for the next class, organizing transactions. Okay, then next you will be reading another article, integrated reporting framework, the one we just did in the class today. You will be reading this article that will really be helping you with your business case you have to develop. This one, right? And you have to read this article. So do read these articles as well, right? Okay, now I've given you all the articles so far to my syllabus. Please ensure that you are reading all these articles. Read all articles in the red box, in the red box for the Friday class, right? And you have one assignment for Wednesday submission, right? And which one assignment you have for Wednesday submission? Let me put that on this so that all of you can know that, because a lot of students are not on the live class, right? So they should also get the message. Right, so this is your assignment, right? This is an assignment for the class on Wednesday. Sorry, class on Friday, but assignment deadline is Wednesday. Okay, perfect. Now let's get to exam paper quickly. Okay, now I have sent you some exam papers yesterday, right? On the WhatsApp group. I hope you have kept them with you. Let's open those exam papers and start drilling them. Okay, will you read this exam paper? Have you read it or will you be reading it in the class now? The question I've sent you yesterday on the environmental footprints. Should I give you 5 minutes to read it? Hello everyone, are you all there? Have you slept? Are you awake? Okay, finally Kabu has become alive and has said give us 5 minutes. So is Kabu an ambassador for all of you, of all the 9 students in the live class? Okay, so irrespective, I'm giving you 5 minutes, read through that. The question is how the activities at WSK contributes to its environmental footprint, right? So you know what environmental footprint is, and read the question and tell me how the activities at the WSK contributes to its environmental footprint, positively or negatively. Okay, start reading the case, and after 5 minutes, I'll be putting in the answer. Okay, your time starts now. Start reading it. Okay, have all of you read it? How the activities at the WSK contributes to its environmental footprint. Okay, let's start to read and understand it. Right, I'll go to the Word file after just scanning the question. WSK produces just 1 minute. I think I just have this question. Just 1 minute, right? Okay, the WSK produces chemicals, right? For use of agriculture sector. Are chemical goods for are chemical good for environment or bad for environment? Are chemical goods good for environment, bad for environment? Okay, bad. Is agriculture good for environment, bad for environment? Good. So we are producing chemicals, right? We are producing chemicals, but we are producing chemical for something good, right? Agriculture. So is agriculture part of the planet? Is agriculture part of the environmental activities? Do we need sustainable agriculture? Do we need sustainable farmings? Okay, great. And we are producing the chemicals, right? So can I be right in saying that producing the chemicals, just take 1 minute, producing the chemicals, the emphasis is on producing. Will producing the chemicals cause the CO2 emission? When you produce something, does it cause a CO2 emission? So will producing the chemicals cause the CO2 emission? Okay, that's great. So producing the chemicals will cause the CO2 emission, the CO2 emission, right? Some which are highly toxic in both liquid and the gaseous states. Some of which are highly toxic. That means if they get spill away, the spillage can be really disastrous for the environment, right? They need to be stored safely on site after processing until they are shipped out to customer, either by road or ships. They need to be safely stored on site after processing. What if during the storage stage they get exploded? Can they get exploded? Can they get exploded when they are being stored? Is there a risk of explosion? Yes or no? Is there a risk of explosion with these chemicals which are highly toxic? So if they get exploded, will it cause an environmental damage? It will, right? And they are shipped. How they are shipped? They're shipped by road and they're shipped by rail. Will it cause a CO2 emission? Ship and road, road and rail. Spillage, right? There is a risk of spillage as well, right? Road and rail. Will it cause a CO2 emission? Do road and rail have an environmental emission? And if they are being taken by road or rail, there is still a risk of explosion, right? So can you understand there are a lot of environmental threats or concerns with the business the WSK is in? So WSK is in the business, right, which itself is very risky, but we need that business, right, because that business is needed for the agriculture. Okay, let's go down and read further. Analysis of the recently published data detailing the frequency and impact of the earthquakes around the world suggests that the likelihood of a strong earthquake occurring in the area where WSK has its only manufacturing and chemical storage facility is high. Oh, how serious that point is. Suggests that the likelihood of a strong earthquake is very, very high. So can that be a disastrous for these chemicals being stored? Yes, it could be deadly, it could be disastrous. This very serious claim was made by the operation directors at a recent board meeting following a consultation with the senior scientific team. It has always been recognized that WSK factory was situated in an area where an earthquake could occur, but the area had not experienced any major tremors for several years. So for the last several years, obviously it's very difficult to predict an earthquake, right? You cannot predict an earthquake with the scientific accuracy, or can you? Can you predict an earthquake with the scientific accuracy? Can you predict an earthquake with the scientific accuracy? Yes or no? No, we can't, right? So in the area so far they have not experienced any major tremors, but they can come in future, right? So the possibility of an earthquake could destroy the WSK factory and cause a major environmental incident was of a grave concern to the board. So is the board concerned about that on a serious note? Is the board concerned about that? So is that something good or is that something bad? Is the board concerned about it? So is that something good or bad? So that means is the management really normative or instrumental? The management is normative, right? Because they're showing concern about environment here. Who decided that it should be fully evaluated and then effectively managed. So the management wants to fully evaluate it and then effectively manage. So are they concerned about mitigating the risk? Are they concerned about mitigating the risk here? So are they really serious? Are they really normative? Yes, they are serious and normative, right? The board asked the scientific team to calculate the probability of a toxic chemical emission being caused by an earthquake on the local environment and the population, many of whom depends upon the WSK for employment and commercial activity. However, the scientific team were unable to provide any objective analysis to support their initial claim. They merely offered the best guess of what they perceive the risk to be. That's true, right? They merely offered their best guess because it's so difficult to predict an earthquake, right, with scientific accuracy. These are natural phenomena, right? And it's difficult to predict a natural phenomena. So let's go down the last paragraph. The board concluded that this was inadequate, so they tasked the internal audit team to conduct an environmental audit and to determine the WSK environmental footprint. So consider you are an internal auditor here. So you have to determine the WSK footprint. Now let's get to the Word file and see how can we extract the WSK footprints here. And I will be giving you a sketch and you will be converting that to a proper paragraph, proper answer. Okay, WSK, let's get to the Word file. Okay, drill or a brainstorming on the WSK environmental footprint. So let's see what can be the WSK environmental footprint. Okay, I'm giving you a sketch answer, a skeleton sketch, and you have to fill in the skeleton sketch yourself. I'm just giving you the thought process, right? Number one. Now, first of all, I believe that the WSK produces the chemical, which results into a CO2 emission, which itself affects the environment and the ecological system as the chemical is toxic. So toxic chemical, right, can really badly affect the environmental ecological systems. Number two, the WSK transport, so the WSK store these chemicals. Now, there could be a possibility that the chemicals gets exploded. The chemical gets exploded, which if happens could affect the would affect the local population as well as the spillage. The spillage of the chemical will affect the environment, including the nearby animals and the species and other species and other species. The number next, the WSK ships them through rail or road. Now itself, the transportation itself causes emission, right? The transportation itself causes emission. So far we're thinking about all negative. Then there is a risk of earthquake, the risk of earthquake, and the risk of earthquake can be disastrous. The risk of earthquake can be disastrous because if that materializes, could possibly affect a larger region, could possibly have a larger impact of the chemical spill on the environment, right? The magnitude of the damages could be significant. Then last, they are producing the chemicals for the agricultural sector. So the agricultural sector is very, very important for the environment, right? So the agricultural sector plays a very positive role in the ecological system and in the ecological system. So that's something favorable, right? Then another favorable thing is that the board is concerned about the earthquake. The board is concerned about earthquake is another very positive thing. That means board is trying to ensure that the damages in any such events are minimized. So that means the board has a normative philosophy or a normative thoughts, which is good. So the board is doing efforts. The board is doing efforts first by having an first by having a scientific team, and then by having an internal audit investigation. So are there a blend of negatives and positives? We started with negative things. Agriculture sector was positive. The board is concerned is positive. So if we think about the environmental footprints, yes, we can say that the environmental footprints, at WSK depends upon the future outcome of the earthquake, and how robust the systems are in place at WSK, as in line how resistant the warehouse is towards an earthquake, or how capable the infrastructure is to absorb absorb the tremors, absorb the tremors. But I think the management is playing a positive part here, right? So I think the management is very much interested in making the infrastructure. The management is very much active here in bringing the changes. I think the role of the board is very much positive here, right? I think the board is like, the board wants the footprints to reduce. Is that right? Is that wrong? Is the board concerned about reducing the footprints? Is the board concerned about the damages of the earthquake? Are they really serious about rectifying it, overcoming it? Are they showing some sort of that concern in the case study? So do you believe that the board will really be working for a better environment and a better future, because the board knows that the earthquake can really be damaging for their business and for the environment? So from the case, when it says the WSK footprints, so you're not just looking at the negative side of the WSK, right? You're also looking at the positive side, because ultimately what footprints are? The footprint is what? The footprint is equal to the impact. The footprint is equal to the impact. Now you will say impact, but understand one thing, this is the net impact. And how you get a net impact? The net impact is equal to the negative. So are we taking the positive minus the negative? Because in the case, there are some positive things like the agriculture sector, like the board is concerned, but there are negative things as well, right? Like the emission, like the producing of the chemical, like the earthquake. So when we think about the footprint in the exam paper, are we thinking about a gross footprint, or are we thinking about the net footprint in the exam paper? I need your answers. In the exam, are we thinking about the gross footprint or the net footprint? Are we only looking at the negative side in the exam paper, or are we looking at the negative and positive and then concluding on the footprint? What should be the right answer? In the exam, are we only thinking about the gross footprint or the net footprint? The net footprint. So in the exam, will we think about both the positive side in the case study and the negative side in the case study? The positive and the negative side in the case study? Will we be thinking about both of them in the exam paper? Right? So is everyone clear with that? So that means we will take a holistic picture. We'll take a holistic picture of the whole case. We'll take the holistic picture of the whole case and then conclude on the footprint. Okay, I hope this question can open your mindset, right, on how things can be like a footprint in an exam paper of SBL, because SBL is a conversion of P1 and P3 paper. So a lot of P1 papers can help you in terms of making your mindset, right? Okay, let's do another question. Okay, we just did integrated reporting today, right? And the 6 capitals. And you have an assignment on that for the next class, where you need to think how important integrated reporting can be for shareholders. But if you have read this case before coming to this class, this case must have given you some good things about how good environmental reporting can be for shareholder. Even this exam paper can help you devise that business plan, which you have to devise for the next class. So will you be reading this case quickly now in front of your screen? Critically evaluate the viewpoints. Critically evaluate the viewpoints of Tang and Stenley on integrated reporting. Just quickly go through the case and particularly pay focus on Tang and Stenley and the viewpoints of Tang and Stenley on integrated reporting, and also think about the appropriate model which you will be linking here. Which model will you be telling examiner when you are answering a question on Tang and Stenley? So not just read Tang and Stenley, but also think about the model which you will use to illustrate Tang and Stenley in the exam paper. And the model has been done in the class. You have 5 minutes, right, to go over this case. I hope you have the question with you, because I cannot put this on the screen in full, right? Do all of you have this question with you on the WhatsApp? Can you access the full question? Because on the screen, I can only show you a part of it, right? Okay, just go about it. You have 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes, I'll be interacting with you. Okay, have all of you read the question? Okay, that's great. Okay, let's start then with the exercise of this question. Now we have to focus on two individuals, right? One is Tang, one is Stenley. So if we just find out where Tang is, okay, let's first read this paragraph. It says, at a recent meeting, the finance director Tang submitted a paper on integrated reporting for discussion and consideration. She advised the board that Plantix had only ever disclosed the minimum information minimum information had only ever disclosed the minimal information it was required by law, but recent developments in international integrated reporting has made a very strong case for broadening the amount of published corporate information, right? This can also help you with your business case, right? So Rachel Tang, she is the finance director, right? And she thinks that we have only reported so far what was required by the law, but as per the recent requirements, we should be broadening the corporate reporting. And I've just shown you how the corporate reporting has evolved, right? From just being financial to being non-financial. Okay, now let's go down and see what Rachel Tang is saying. Rachel Tang further asserted that the integrated report would have an effect of simplifying the published financial information with excessive details being removed and critical information being highlighted. If Plantex voluntarily adopts the integrated reporting, it shareholders and other stakeholders would better understand how the firm was really performing and so be able to make a meaningful assessment of the firm's long-term strategy. This openness could encourage further investment and strengthen the firm's competitive position. So Rachel Tang is in favor of the integrated reporting because she believes that this openness could encourage further investment and strengthen the firm's competitive position. So she is in favor of that, right? But Stanley, the chief executive, is against it. The chief executive says, the chief executive Stanley suggested that this all sounds very good in theory, but he found it hard to justify the extra risk expense without any recognizable return to shareholders. You have to make a business case, right? He said it was just another costly management fad. It is just another costly management fad that distracts the companies from its real purpose, making more money for shareholders. So Rachel Tang is in favor, right, that we should bring out the integrated report because this openness would encourage further investment. But Stanley, who's the CEO of the company, suggests that no, we are here to make money for shareholders, and this is very costly. Now you have to do the cost benefit analysis. You have to demonstrate the commercial acumen when you are writing a case for me for the next Wednesday, by Wednesday for the next session on Friday. Now, can you tell me one thing? Which model should I apply to justify where Rachel Tang and Stanley Broadway is? Do you remember a model we did in the last class? Because in an exam paper, the model will be hidden. You need to think about the model. Which model should I apply here? You can sense something here. Making money for shareholders, the real purpose. And you can sense something here. Openness could encourage further investment and strengthen firm's competitive position. Can you get some hint here? Why the examiner is putting those two lines on integrated reporting? Can we say Stanley Broadway? Can we say Stanley Broadway is pristine capitalist? Business have no obligations beyond legal and economic? Can we apply the Gray, Owen, Adam model here, which is a perfect model and the right model for this answer? So can we say this person Stanley is a pristine capitalist? He's instrumental. He is instrumental. He's not thinking about anything beyond legal and economics. Is the company doing the legal reporting so far, which is required in the country? Yes or no? Is the company doing the legal reporting as required in the country? And is the integrated reporting voluntary in the question? So will Stanley favor anything which is voluntary? No, because he is pristine capitalist, right? So, can we say that the Stanley is a pristine capitalist here? Stanley is a pristine capitalist. Now, who will tell me where is Rachel Tang? Where she is, the openness could encourage further investment, and strengthen the firm's competitive position. The openness could encourage further investment. Where is she? Who will pick the right stance from the gray oven atom? No, 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 no. Wrong answer, Omar Kaleem. Kabu, great answer. Perfect answer. When I'm keeping it secret, I want others to respond as well. Kabu has given the right answer. Omar Kaleem, you have not given the right answer. Let's find other people. Muhammad Rosan, what's your answer? No, no, no. Kim, that's the wrong answer. Okay, let's find the right answer. Kabu has given the right answer, and that's perfect answer. So you get the prize, Kabu, but that prize is a virtual prize, right? That's not a physical prize, but you get the prize. Expedience is the right answer. Expedience is the right answer. Business. See this, how Kabu picked it. May be appropriate if it is in the business economic interest. So was not Tang thinking about this, that the openness will bring further investments? The openness will bring further investments. Was she not thinking about the business economic interest while thinking about this? Okay, welcome Kabu for that. Uh, so can you think about this experience thing here? Was Tang concerned about if it is in the business economic interest? Can all of you pick that business economic interest from the statement of Rachel Tang? Can all of you pick that? The openness could encourage further investment and the firm competitive position. So was she concerned about the being looking at things from the economic perspective, the business perspective? So was it right to conclude that she is standing at expedience and Stanley is standing at pristine capitalist? Is everyone clear on that? So have you found the diversified views of the people in this question? And one view of the people was linked with gray oven atom, the second was linked with the gray oven atom. Are you getting some understanding of how gray oven atom can be in SBL? Will the examiner directly ask you gray oven atom? Not at all. But will you sense that I am looking at a viewpoint of a person who is thinking about expedience? I'm thinking about a person who is thinking about pristine capitalist. Have you got some sense of the gray oven atom and its application just with this one case study? Will you re-practice this question to assure that how Rachel Tang was picked as expedient and how Stanley was picked as pristine capitalist? Because you have to judge the model or the theory in the exam paper. Right now you have many assignments for next class which has already been put on the WhatsApp group and have already been discussed with you in this class, and please revise all the topics we have done so far, because from the next class we'll be taking the next journey, and the next journey in my next class We'll start from the topic 3. We have done till topic 2. So we'll be starting on with the third topic, which is about the corporate governance. And you will be getting a great knowledge about corporate governance, and all you should be knowing about the SBL exams in corporate governance. We'll be starting with the third topic, corporate governance, into the next class. And this is not a big topic, so most likely in the next class, which is of 3 hours on Friday, we'll complete this topic, topic 3, and we'll be going down into the topic 4, reporting to stakeholders. So if you want to be ahead of class, you can also go through the topic 3 and 4 for the next class. Okay, is that clear to everyone? Any question you would like to ask pertaining to the session today? Any question you would like to ask pertaining to the session today? All of you know the assignments. All of you know what your assignments are for the next class. And all of you know what you have to revise for the next class. And did these questions really help you today? The questions on Tang and Stanley, did they really open your mindset about how a question can come on gray oven atom? I'll be sharing some more questions with you on the same topic, gray oven atom, that how you picked a person, and how you respond to a gray oven atom. And did really the environmental footprint help you to understand how environmental footprint can be tested in exam paper? Because remember one thing, right? Nothing will be tested directly. Nothing will be tested directly in the exam paper, right? It will only be tested indirectly. So the more better you prepared for something, the good for you to survive in the exam paper, right? So by Wednesday, will all of you be submitting me the 500 words case for integrated reporting? And you have to impress your shareholder, right? And I am your shareholder. You are my finance director, right? So you have to impress me to get your first prize as the virtual prize, right? And we'll decide what the virtual prize would be. So let's see who gets the first, second, and third prize, writing a 500 words case on impressing the shareholder, which is myself. And if you impress me that integrated reporting is something good, should be done, and it creates value, so you will be coming at the first 3 positions in the class. So is that a better incentive for all of you to work on it? Okay, I hope all of you have participated in a poll which is in progress. If you have not yet participated in the poll, please participate in the poll which is right in front of your screen. And it's time to say you goodbye and have a nice day. And I'll meet you then with my regular class on Friday and Saturday. And the recording will be made available as soon as it gets uploaded in like next 3 to 4 hours. And I'll be sharing the Word file immediately on the WhatsApp group. Okay, I hope you had a good session today. Have an effective learning, and I'll see you then next week. Goodbye. Allah Hafiz. Have a nice day.